Hello, everyone. Nature can be peaceful, but when it rages, it becomes an unstoppable fury. Flash floods, storms, volcanic eruptions, all of these showcase the Earth's immense power. When faced with such disasters, humans can only either flee or survive. Have you ever witnessed nature's wrath? Let's dive in and explore. Natural disasters not only devastate, but also push humans into life and death situations. When a flood swept through Bendung Lekopansing, the rescue team rushed into danger to save a farmer. However, they themselves became victims when the boat capsized in the fast-moving waters. Fortunately, all 4 members of the rescue team survived miraculously. A terrifying landslide just occurred in Japan, burying an entire area in mud and rubble. Houses were swept away like toys, and cracked roads signaled that the disaster was far from over. All the citizens' belongings were buried, but fortunately, they had evacuated in time before it was too late. Persistent rainfall had quietly softened the soil on the mountainside. Suddenly, a massive landslide roared down, blocking the path that had just been traveled by people. Some rushed to escape, while others, stunned by the unexpected event, could only stand frozen and record the breathless moment. While traveling on a quiet road, the man suddenly heard strange cracking sounds coming from the cliff above. Just a few seconds later, a massive rockslide unexpectedly came crashing down, blocking the road. Realizing the imminent danger, he immediately abandoned his motorcycle and sprinted for safety. A terrifying flash flood suddenly swept through a residential area, carrying with it a fast-moving, murky river. The small bridge spanning the floodwaters seemed to be on the verge of collapse, while the roaring flood carried away everything in its path. In the distance, a few residents watched in panic, probably not expecting such a disaster to strike so quickly. Offshore, earthquakes stirred the sea, sending massive waves crashing onto the Turkish coastline. In an instant, the water surged past the palm trees, sweeping everything in its path, forcing residents to flee in panic. A dust devil suddenly formed in the middle of the dirt field, whipping up bright red dust and creating an astonishing sight. The group of people gathered at the center of the vortex immediately crouched down, while another person standing outside appeared to be stunned by this strange phenomenon. The winds were so strong that they blew away lightweight objects around. Plastic chairs were toppled, and the dust cloud obscured visibility. This could have been a small-scale tornado, but it definitely gave those present an unforgettable experience. The event occurred at the Spantic Base at an altitude of 7,027 meters, when a massive rock unexpectedly fell at an extremely fast speed, heading straight for the campsite. In a moment of intense danger, the rock almost hit one person, but he managed to dodge it in the nick of time. This was truly a tense situation, leaving everyone around in awe. A rare firewhirl phenomenon recently appeared in Santa Elena, Ecuador, creating a truly astonishing sight. A giant vortex carried smoke, dust, and fire, rising into the sky like a true tornado. The dry weather conditions combined with the heat from the fire created this strange natural occurrence. Patagonia, Argentina is on high alert as several wildfires have erupted in recent days. The fires have spread across El Bolsón since January 30th, and they are still not fully contained. Firefighting forces are working hard to control the flames, but the dry weather and strong winds have made the situation more complicated. In addition, wildfires have also been reported in the Lanin and Nahuel Huapi national parks, posing a serious threat to the region's ecosystem. A new wildfire broke out fiercely yesterday afternoon in the Estancia Grande area, located in Entre Rios province, Argentina. The fire quickly spread due to strong winds, creating a sky filled with smoke and raging flames. After a torrential downpour with more than 12 inches of rain, the once solid hills became dangerously fragile. A section of what seemed like a stable road collapsed in an instant, right before the eyes of pedestrians. The perspective might deceive you, but nature does not. In disaster, sometimes just one misstep can come with a heavy price. Tropical storm Zelia hit Western Australia with winds reaching up to 130 miles per hour, bringing heavy rainfall and devastating destruction. The storm not only disrupted traffic, but also damaged much of the infrastructure, leaving thousands without power and forcing emergency evacuations. The fierce winds swept through, ripping off roofs, uprooting trees, and submerging many areas in floodwaters. The residents are facing an extreme challenge, while rescue teams continue their efforts to respond. A fierce wildfire named Confluencia broke out in Rio Negro, Argentina yesterday, creating a horrifying scene as the fire spread at a rapid pace. Thick black smoke columns rose high into the sky, while the fierce flames engulfed hundreds of hectares of forest. Firefighters were immediately mobilized to control the blaze, but strong winds and difficult terrain made firefighting efforts challenging. Many nearby residential areas are also on high alert as the risk of the fire spreading continues to grow. A shocking CCTV footage captured the moment a tornado unexpectedly struck Ayamonte in the province of Huelva, Spain, on Tuesday, creating chaos in an instant. San Diego is facing a tsunami warning following a major earthquake off the coast of Northern California in December 2024. The footage shows the violent waves crashing onto the coastline, sweeping away the familiar sands of the local beaches. Many people were stunned by the sight, while some tried to capture this rare moment on camera. Devastating floods have submerged many areas in Belmonte, Cuenca, Spain. The fast-moving waters swept away everything in their path, leaving many vehicles stranded and severely damaged. Local residents were thrown into a state of panic as the water quickly rose, posing serious danger. Sudden heavy rains have poured down on Corbus, Tunisia, causing a severe flash flood that submerged numerous roads and residential areas. The torrential waters swept away vehicles, damaged homes, and left residents in a state of panic. Rescue teams are racing against time to save those trapped in the raging floodwaters. Norilsk is enduring an extreme snowstorm with winds reaching up to 56 miles per hour, reducing visibility to near zero. Roads are covered in thick snow, traffic is nearly paralyzed, and the lives of residents have been completely disrupted. The plummeting temperatures combined with the strong winds create a biting cold that penetrates to the bone. A rare natural phenomenon occurred when a street light in China was struck by lightning 12 times in a row. The bright lightning bolts struck the same spot, leaving witnesses in shock. A devastating flood has submerged the entire area, sweeping away all vehicles and belongings in its powerful current. Many vehicles were overturned, drifting aimlessly in the strong water flow, while residents frantically tried to escape. A pedestrian narrowly escaped a violent eruption on Mount Dukono, Indonesia, as thick ash covered the sky and molten lava flowed down the mountain slopes. The terrifying scene was like the end of the world. Severe flooding submerged Guarulhos in Greater São Paulo, Brazil, after heavy rains poured over the São Paulo capital and the entire region yesterday. The waters rose rapidly, sweeping away everything in their path, trapping many vehicles and causing chaos for residents. After strong aftershocks from the Kaikoura earthquake in New Zealand, massive rocks and debris from the cliffs suddenly collapsed, posing serious danger to residents and vehicles. Roads were blocked, traffic was paralyzed, and the risk of further landslides remains high. After heavy rainfall hit São Paulo and the entire greater São Paulo region, severe flooding occurred in Guarulhos yesterday. The waters rose rapidly, sweeping away vehicles, submerging streets, and trapping many people in the powerful current. Residents frantically tried to evacuate, while rescue teams worked tirelessly to respond to this emergency situation. Bagnaia, a peaceful seaside village in Portoferraio on the island of Elba, Italy, was immersed in a stunning scene as night fell. The lights from the small houses reflected on the still water, creating a magical picture between the untouched nature and the charming ancient landscape. A river of bright red lava is flowing swiftly down the mountainside, devouring everything in its path. The extreme heat causes the ground to vaporize, while sparks fly, creating a scene that is both majestic and terrifying. Would you dare to stand close to witness the immense power of nature? Another video recorded the moment a tornado swept through Ayamonte, Huelva, Spain on Tuesday. Rosario Carretero witnessed the horrifying sight of possessions and belongings being tossed around as powerful winds swept everything in its path. The destructive force of nature is truly terrifying. A sinkhole in Canya Altanacan continues to expand, causing concern among locals and geologists. The size of the sinkhole is growing, posing a serious threat to the safety of the surrounding area. The cause is still under investigation, but this unusual geological change raises many questions about the stability of the ground in the area. The Florida coast is entering a state of emergency as Hurricane Milton approaches with extremely strong winds and heavy rainfall. Local authorities have issued an emergency alert, urging residents to evacuate from dangerous areas. Meteorologists forecast that the hurricane could cause severe flooding, high waves, and strong gusts of wind, threatening infrastructure and the lives of millions. Will Florida be able to withstand the approaching storm?